So Edward Snowden is going to explain exactly how the government refuses to give him a fair trial. And I think this is really important because the casual observer, including me, by the way, you look at what's going on and you go, he's right according to the law and according to the Constitution, so why doesn't he come home and stand trial? Wouldn't he win the case? Isn't it obvious that the NSA is illegally and unconstitutionally data mining all of our stuff, illegally spying on us? The FISA court is just a rubber stamp court, so there really is no process. There really is no, getting a warrant. This is just spying, full stop, illegally, unconstitutionally. So that you can be forgiven for thinking that because it's it's obviously that's correct. So why wouldn't he come home and just stand trial and win? Well, here's the answer.
So, Ed Snowden, a lot of people in this country are probably curious, when was the last time you had substantive discussions about coming home to the United States? And would this still be your preference? Do you still refer to it as home?
The United States will always be my home. And I'll always be willing to come back on a single condition. And I've been quite clear about this over the years. This is that the government guarantee that I have the right, and every whistleblower has the right, to tell the jury why they did what they did. Right? We can disagree about whether this was right or wrong. We can disagree about whether this is good or bad. We can disagree about whether this is legal or illegal. That's right and proper in a democracy. But we have to agree that the jury is supposed to be the proper authority to ultimately decide, was this right or wrong? And I hate to say it, but under current laws, that is explicitly forbidden under the Espionage Act, which, as you know, it's increasingly being used against the sources of journalism instead of foreign spies. The law makes no distinction between someone who tells a secret to a journalist and someone who tells a secret to a foreign government. So there has not been any movement, unfortunately, on that conversation since the Obama administration, when I told the government that all they need to do is give me the right of what we call a public interest defense. This is a fair trial, an open trial, where the jury hears what is happening and they decide, was this justified or not? Unfortunately, then Attorney General Eric Holder responded and said, we can't promise that. We won't promise that. We will promise not to torture you. Unfortunately, I'd say that's not quite enough.
So do you understand that? The idea is we're going to handcuff the defense. Because his only defense, clearly, is, well, yeah, technically I broke the law, but the reason I broke the law was to expose that the government is violating the Constitution, which is the supreme law of the land. So that's the argument he has to make, because that's what the reality of the situation is. Yes, I took top secret, classified information, whatever, and I released it to the public. But the reason I released it to the public is because it's obviously something the public should know, and it's something that shouldn't be classified or top secret. I think people have a right to know that the government has totally taken away your Fourth Amendment right, protection from unreasonable search and seizure, and they're data mining everybody, collecting information on everybody, no matter how innocent you are. So they're illegally and unconstitutionally spying on you, and so that's why I'm leaking this information. I'm leaking it because I'm a whistleblower and I have a conscience, and I know that it's wrong and immoral and unethical and unconstitutional for the government to hide behind, oh, this is something the general public can't know. So that's why I'm releasing it. And since he would be tried under the Espionage Act, a law from 1917, by the way, they say, no, it doesn't. All that matters is that you were leaking information that's classified or top secret. The nature of that doesn't matter. Like what the exact specifics are of the thing that you're leaking don't matter. And it doesn't matter that you're giving it to a journalist for the public good, as opposed to giving it to a foreign country to help them in a war. Like, that's supposed to be the idea. Oh, the Espionage Act. What does that mean? Oh, it means like you're a spy and you're working for a foreign government and you infiltrated our government and you got some damning information and then you leak it to the government that we're at war with. That's what that's supposed to mean. Nobody, even Edward Snowden's harshest critics, nobody would say he's, a spy working for a foreign government helping them out. That's just not true. Dude tried to resettle in fucking 27 other countries, and then he had to settle on Russia because they were the only one who would take him, and he's still criticizing Russia from inside Russia. So he's not a spy. That's utter nonsense. It's total insanity that they would even think of going after him with this law. So, and he's pointing it out. Listen, I want to come back. I want to stand trial, but they won't even allow me to make my obvious only defense, which is I did this because I'm a whistleblower, because I'm exposing that the government is violating the Constitution. By the way, it's not just him who says that. It's federal courts that have heard this already have said that. So he's not allowed to say that, though. He's not allowed to say, I did it for the public good and I did it because the government was acting unconstitutionally. He's not allowed to say that at all. The only question in trial would be, did you leak classified information? Oh, you did? Okay, well, sorry, now we're going to throw the book at you. And maybe you'll never get out of prison. Oh, God. They are viciously going after him. And Daniel Ellsberg, who was basically the Edward Snowden of a previous generation, who gave us the Pentagon Papers, which showed that we were massacring innocent civilians in Vietnam. Daniel Ellsberg says, oh yeah, what Edward Snowden is doing is exactly like what I was doing. So today we all recognize and realize that Daniel Ellsberg is a hero. Everybody realizes that. But that's just because he was right, but it's been years and years and years since he did what he did. So everybody kind of realized, okay, dude is right. But at the time, they said the same shit about him. How dare you expose our state secrets and what the government is doing? Are you working with the enemy? All that same stuff, they said. Now we know he's a hero. Edward Snowden, let's cut the bullshit with Edward Snowden, okay? Let's cut the bullshit. Let's just all acknowledge now he's a hero and what he did was correct. And you're going to tell me even under the Obama administration, it's supposed to be a lefty administration, oh please, they were like, come home, bro. It's all good. We'll just, hit you with the Espionage Act. What? You should have been pardoning him, not saying, well, we're going to throw the book at you. So anyway, everybody go out and buy Edward Snowden's new book. But actually, that leads to the final point in this story, which is, guess what? The government is suing Edward Snowden for all the money that he's going to make with his book. You can't make this stuff up. Because they say again, oh, you're releasing this classified information, or at the very least, you're talking about that information. So we're suing, and we're going to try to jack all of the profits from that book. They're like comic book villain evil, the government is, in how they're treating Edward Snowden, and how they're treating Julian Assange, and how they're treating Chelsea Manning. It's like comic book evil, and we see right through you.